Everyone, if you take the proper precautions, prayers, meditation, anything that raises your vibrations, you should have a very positive experience in the paranormal. However, there are some dangers in being involved in paranormal investigations. Some of them is very open. Some of them are not. They're very subtle. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. I mean, we've gone through equipments, books, preparation, precaution, protection, everything else. So I want to talk to you today about the dangers. First thing, there's a lot of controversy with this, but Ouija boards, okay? There are a lot of paranormal investigators that will tell you, leave them alone. Why? Because it's not just a piece of wood with letters on it, as people will want you to believe. You're using intentions to speak to the dead. You don't know what's coming through there. It's like opening your apartment door, opening your house door. You don't know who's going to come in there. And they see it as an invitation. A burglar will see it as an invitation. Well, guess what? Negative entities and demons, same thing. So, you'll hear comments like, well, I've used it 100 times and nothing's ever happened. If you use it correctly and you remember to take precautions and close it afterwards, you should be fine. Really. Using a Ouija board is like playing Russian roulette. Okay? You could do it 100 times and nothing happens. It's the 101st time that all hell breaks loose. And honestly, is it really worth having something that you can't see upsetting your home, scratching you, choking you, moving things around, throwing things about? Is it worth it just because 100 times before everything went well? Everybody used the Ouija board to talk to the dead, but nobody uses the Ouija board to talk to Elvis. Nobody uses the Ouija board to talk to Columbus and ask him what he thinking when he sailed across the seas and got lost. We want to talk to our grandparents, our loved ones. And guess what? Demons always will come to you in the disguise of those that you love, because they know that you will be willing to let them in. They come as small children. They come as pets. They come as things that look innocent and harmless and that they know that you will trust. Okay? The devil does not come up in the quintessential picture of the horns and the tail and the pitchfork and the hoven kloof and say, hello. No. Okay, they do these things subtly. So, Ouija boards, don't mess with them. If you've messed with them, stop. If you're using one, stop. If you know somebody who has used one, or, you go to their homes and they're using one, have no part of it. Because all you have to do is be at that one moment where that evil entity looks at you and say, hey, I can hitch a ride on that person. And you now got something coming into your home that you're going to have to call somebody for. And not all churches are going to turn around and believe that you got a demonic entity or an evil spirit in your home. Okay? That's an obvious one. But a subtle one, okay, are some religious objects. That's right. You heard me say it. Religious objects. In New York City, I don't know where a lot of you are watching this, but in New York City, there are places called botanicas. And this is usually a place where people of Hispanic origins, they practice a religion. Some practice a religion called Santeria. And they go to these botanicas and they get their equipment there. Sometimes they do a little ceremony in the back or something like that. But they have their equipment there. So you might see a statue of the Virgin Mary, but she's black. The statue of Jesus, he's black, And these are mixed feelings. So, I'm not trying to offend anybody that practice Santeria or go to these places. I'm just trying to make you aware because anything that happens, whether it's positive or negative, is all based on intentions. As I said earlier, the same white candle that you use to bless someone is the same white candle somebody with negative intentions can use to curse someone. And the same thing with a black candle. So it's all about intentions and the vibration that you're sending out there. So I'm flipping through YouTube one day and I'm looking up programs on the paranormal and stuff like that. And I came across one. And the guy basically gave himself to Satan many years ago. I mean, he saw the demons, they came, they made him wealthy. He was, involved in crime and everything, and he was very successful at it. And he was brought up in the sanctity of religion. And he would go to these botanica and see the things that they have and stuff like that. And he himself said before he left, he left and he started following God. But he himself said that a lot of these botanicas will infuse religious items with negative energy. Okay? Now, I was like, wow, because I bought my charcoal there. I used to go to botanicas, they're so close by. I used to go to them and get my charcoal. Now I don't. But I thought about that, because when you look at some of the statues, even though they're religious, they're a little bit creepy. And then sometime later, I read a paper and they're warning tourists about going to foreign countries. The one that they named in particular was the Philippines. Why? Because the tourists would go there and get these religious items, the icons, Virgin Mary, a cross, Jesus, and so forth. And they think they're bringing home something holy. But the person has placed curses on it, or attached negative entities to them. Okay? Who would think of that? You go and you get a crucifix, you go get a picture of the Last Supper, and you go, hey, I'm honoring my belief and this is good. And it never dawns on you that the person who is selling it is placing negative energy on it. And now you've bought that stuff from that country into your home and it's unleashed. Okay? Yard sales, garage sales, flea markets, Goodwill stores. This is another thing that it all looks innocent, but you have to be careful. That's my main point in this. Whether Ouija boards in and of itself, in my personal opinion, I would say stay away from. Don't touch it. Don't go near it. I go to paranormal expos. I see the Ouija board. I give it a wide circle. Okay? I don't stand too close to the table itself. And sometimes it's hard because a vendor that I like and know will be at the table next to it. And I'm like standing at the end of his or her table so that I'm not close to the table that has the Ouija boards on it. But the other stuff, like the statues in the Botanica and other items, they look seemingly innocent. And they could be. Not everybody's out there to do something wrong. Some of them just worship the way they worship. It's like, any other church. Not every church is bad. But you got to be careful. You got to have your eyes wide open. And if you're sensitive to energy, rely on that energy. When you go to these flea markets, garage sale, yard sale, Goodwill, whatever places where people have donated stuff or people are selling things that once belonged to them, hold it in your hand. See what impression you get. If you don't get a positive impression, you don't get a positive feeling, put it down. Because keep in mind, especially when it comes to yard sales and garage sales and stuff, people are getting rid of things that they've owned for years. Okay? And some of those things may have been something that belonged to a family member who have passed. And if that family member that passed is attached to a particular item, guess what? You now have another tenant. You got somebody living in your home now because that negative entity is coming to your home. And especially if they don't like the fact that you got something that belongs to there and they want it back, you got a problem. Okay? This is a thing that happens often. I've read about it. I've heard about it. People have talked about it. You know, something as innocent as a pocket watch, as innocent as a vase. Someone may have been very, very, very attached to that piece, and then they died. The person's family turns around and says, well, we don't need it. We sell it. We could get $5, $10 for whatever. And that person's spirit, that dead person's spirit, is now attached to that vase and is coming to your home because you brought it home. You know. So these are the things that I want you to be aware of. Some of the things are very obvious, like, you know, I mentioned earlier, the Ouija board. Some of them are not. It does not mean do not go to Goodwill and pick these things up, you know, and you can't bring them home. Just be aware of the energy, okay? Before you bring them home, I strongly advise you to cleanse the items. I don't care what it is. If it's even if you bought a desk from the Salvation Army or from Goodwill or some other place like that, from the thrift store, if you bought anything from them, before you bring it into your house, cleanse it. How do you do it? Well, different areas, I guess, will deal with the method that you use, but in some places, some people will use sage. You know, that's the basic cleanser, sage and sweetgrass, Palo Santo wood. Some people would use holy water and bless it to remove any, you know, negative entities or energies that may be attached. Okay, so whatever you can use to remove and cleanse it of any possible negative energies, that is what you do. It's just, you know, some of you may believe in crystals. When you go and you buy your crystals, you go to the store, you pick it up. Some of you feel the vibrations. If it calls out to you and it matches your vibration, you buy it. If not, you put it back. But you always have to be aware that you got all these crystals in this store and you're not the only one that picked up that particular crystal. Several other people before you picked it up. And when you put it down, several other people behind you. So it's all energy that is being absorbed into the crystal. Right now, I've been doing these videos for you guys. Okay? My energy is in the videos that I do for you people. So, if I'm not in a positive mood, if I'm not in a negative mood, I'm not going to make a video and post it on YouTube for you guys to see. Why? Because I don't want to risk you guys picking up on my negative mood at that time. I want you to see me in a positive mood, happy state, giving you the love, light, and peace that I always give you and hope to give you and will share with you with the advice and information that I have. It's not much, you know, in terms of my experience. I've only been doing this for 3 years. But I have been around people that have been doing this longer. I have read books that it's not fluff. When you read it and you go, wow, you know, Malachi Martin's Hostage to the Devil. You know, some of his cases took place in New York City. There's one that took place in New York City. Smiler. And it's an area that I'm familiar with. You know, and to think that something like that happens here. Because, you know, and you're surprised. But, you know, I try to make sure that you have positive energy coming from me to the video, from the video to you who watches it. Okay, that's what I want. So, you know, crystals, things at the thrift store, all these kind of things. You got to be able to, if you can't feel the energy, then at least take the precaution of cleansing it before you bring it into your home. Because once it's in your home, that's it. It's in your home. You don't know. You don't see it. But if you get to it before it's in your home, it won't get in. It's a barrier. So say a prayer. Use holy water. You know, oil. You know, olive oil. You could bless oil. There's so many things that can be done if you do it correctly. And again, intention. energy, intention, faith. I suggested a book for prayer. You know, that's what you do in your home. That's what you do before the investigation. These are all things that can be done. You know, it's not impossible. You will be around people. You will meet people that have a wide range of experience, and maybe they can help you. I would say go on the internet, but that's a hit and miss because everybody have their own opinions, just like I have my opinion with the Ouija board. And maybe their information is not going to be very helpful because it seems like nowadays that everybody that wants to become a paranormal investigator just go and buy some equipment and go, I'm a paranormal investigator. And they haven't once experienced some of the things that seasoned investigators have gone through. And when that day comes, it's going to be a whole lot of different reaction. So I hope I've given you some information here, and I hope it's useful, and I hope you will at least consider it. My next video, I think, will be on drawbacks, because being a part of the paranormal community does have its drawbacks. And I want to cover that and make you guys aware of it. So, until the next video, love, light, peace to you all, and goodbye.